Hello, my name is Joshua Mugabe. I welcome you to Feeding in Insects. Feeding in Insects. We are going to look at feeding in insects. So, insects have three types of mouthparts, and those mouthparts are found on their heads. This includes the mandible, or what we call the jaws, the maxilla, and the labium. Those are the three parts of the insects which are found on the head. So let's look at our structures. Here we have the head. Here we have the head where the maxilla and the labium have been cut away to show the mandibles. So these ones that we are seeing here, these are the mandibles, and they are found on the head. And here, up here, when you look here, there are these ones that they are showing us here. Those are the muscles which move the mandibles. So those are the main feeding tools. And then this side, we have the maxilla. The maxilla is this part here that we are seeing here. That is the maxilla. These ones on the side, those ones are called the maxilla. The second part of the feeding parts of the insect. Then we have the third part is the one that we are calling the labium. All these ones that we are seeing here, this part here is what we refer to as the labium. It is the labium. So we have the three parts. One, the mandible. These ones that we are seeing here, they are the mandibles. And then we have the maxilla. Those ones that are following, these two. These are the maxilla. And the one that we are seeing lower, it is the labium. So those are the feeding parts, mouth parts of the insect. These are modified. They are modified in various ways, which adapt the insect to its method of feeding. So the mouth parts are modified depending on the type of feeding the insect is having. For example, our cockroach is using the mandibles. For it, it feeds on solid food substances. That's why it has got the mandibles. You can see it has got the mandibles because it feeds on solid food substances. Then there are other insects that feed on liquid food substances. Those ones will have a different modification because they are adapted to a different feeding method. So the mouthparts are modified according to the feeding method of the particular insect. The head of a cockroach shown below shows the basic form of unmodified mouth parts. It is showing the basic forms of unmodified mouth parts. We have already looked at the different mouth parts. We have seen the mandibles, these ones here. We have looked at the mandibles, and then we have also looked at the maxilla, these ones here, the maxilla. This side we have the maxilla, and we have seen that the third part is the labium. This lower part here is what we are calling the labium. So those are the basic form of unmodified mouth part shown by the head of the cockroach. The mandibles, these ones, they cut off pieces of food and crush them before they are swallowed. That is the work of the mandibles. The mandibles, their work is to cut pieces of food and then crush them. And after crushing them, then they will be swallowed via the gut. And that is the work of the mandibles as one of the parts of the mouth parts of the insects. Other mouth parts help select the food and manipulate it between the jaws. So the other mouth parts that we have the maxilla. You have here the maxilla. These ones, the maxilla and the labium, the maxilla and the labium down, their work is to select the food and manipulate it between the jaws. The jaws, those are the mandibles. So for them, they are going to direct the food towards the mandible, which is going to crush the food and then push it into the gut. So that's the work of the maxilla and the labium, which are the second part of the mouth parts. In these insects, the mouth parts are elongated. In case of the mosquito and the aphid, they are modified to pierce skin and plant tissue, to suck blood and plant juice respectively. So now we have here other type of insects that are modified in different ways. We have the mosquito, we have also the aphid here. Now for these ones, for them, they are modified to pierce. The mosquito is modified to pierce the skin. It pierces the skin. But when you look at its mouth part, you are going to see it has got the mandibles and the maxilla. This part which is going down is the one which is made up of the mandible and the maxilla. And it is the one that is used to pierce the skin. It is the one that is used to pierce the skin. It pierces through the skin using the mandibles and the maxilla. Then it has got behind, it has the labium. The labium is this part here. This labium is used as a cover of the mandible and the maxilla. So the mosquito has a modified part of the mouth which is made up of the mandibles and the maxilla, which are used for piercing the skin to suck blood, and then the labium is used to cover the mandible and the maxilla. Then we have the aphid. The aphid, this one that we have, for them, they feed on plant juice. They feed on plant juice. They also have the mandibles and the maxilla, and these one are also used for sucking plant juice. We have the mandible here and it is mixed, or it is combined with the maxilla. Then behind still we have something covering, that is the labium. It is the one that is used to cover. It covers the mandible and the maxilla. That is the labium. This part here is our labium. It is used to cover the mandible and the maxilla. So the maxilla and the mandible are the ones that are used to pierce the plant tissue. They pierce through the plant tissue, and then they push the mandibles and the maxilla to enter into the vesicular system, where they suck the juice from, and then it is sent into the gut. The honeybee's proboscis is modified to probe into flowers and suck up the nectar. Now, here we have our honeybee. This is our honeybee. It also has the mandibles. We can see the mandibles here, but they are very short. Mandibles are very short here, very short. And it has got also the labium. Now, for it uses the labium to probe into the flowers, and then it sucks the nectar using its labium. Sorry, using its labium, it uses it to suck the nectar from flowers. Then we have the butterfly. The butterfly's mouth parts form a tube, which when uncoiled, it is inserted into the flowers to suck up their nectar. So you look at the butterfly, it has got what we are referring to as the proboscis. This part that you are seeing here, which is coiled, that one is called the proboscis. And the proboscis is the one that is used by the butterfly to suck nectar from the plants. It is always coiled, but when it is going to suck the juice from the plants, it will uncoil it and straighten it, and when it straighten it, and then now it can use it to suck nectar from the flowers. The housefly's labium is elongated and forms a pad at the end. So when you look at our housefly, it has a labium, and this labium is elongated. It is long. The labium is long. It is elongated. You can see that it is elongated. It moves from up and comes down, and when it comes downwards, it forms a pad. Now this pad is the one that is used to suck the food. Food passes through the pad, and then it passes through the labium, and then it goes into the gut. The pad is placed on the food. Saliva is secreted, and the food is dissolved and sucked up. So it places the pad is placed on the food, and then after the pad has been placed on the food, it will release the saliva. It releases the saliva to the food, and when it releases the saliva to the food, the food is going to be dissolved in the saliva, then the food will be absorbed, or the food will be sucked through the pad and then through the labium and taken into the gut. Hello, my friends. Thank you very much for participating in feeding in insects. Please do like, share, and subscribe.